Hey, welcome to Dr. Paul Dyer's little webinar. I'm going to start this. I know people are going to be coming in and out, and that's okay because let's get this started. This won't take too long. So, what is the science of stress? It says I wrote down the science of stress and how to stop it. I think we all want to stop stress, but what is stress? Stress is it's poison. Well, we also know it's a discomfort. We also know how it makes us feel, whether it be anxious, whether it be angry, whether it be all kinds of things. What it doesn't do for us, it does not allow us to feel who we really are or who we really want to be with ourselves. Okay, so we need to learn how to stop it. Now, there's not a magazine you can't pick up in this vast world or look on how to stop stress. Here's what I find difficult about the magazines or the writings or what's being written out there. It doesn't really help you. The reason why it doesn't help you because a lot of times if a person who's never been taught in a room with me or with another teacher, you don't really can ask those questions. So I want to do that because I think if you understand something, I think it'd be a lot easier. You've read why, and you read the how come it's good for you. You read what it's done for other people. You've read a lot about how has helped people transform their lives. It has transformed mine when you get rid of stress. It has transformed how it has taken the state of reaction out of your life. You can open your mind up into a clear state. Um, Clear meaning not that you don't have sorrows or sadness or depression, but clear that you can see the why you have the sorrow, sadness, and depression. Those things are important. If you could see something, you can navigate through it, around it, over it. The choice is yours. We're not going to get into what choices are better for you to do. Those are discussions for a whole other time. And there's so many different beautiful ways out there of what to do and how to do it. And wherever works for you, it's kind of like clothes. Some things clothes fit. Just because they fit doesn't mean they look good on you. Just because they may look good on someone else and you can wear it doesn't mean you should. Um, and I don't like to use the word should because it's like telling you what you can and can't do. But I think we could try out certain things. So before you start trying on what fits and what looks good, let's dig into the science of it. Let's dig into the science, and then you can figure out the type of thing you want to wear for maybe when you want to wear it and how you want to wear it. Now, I'm going to try to bring this up here, and I hope you can see it here. Over here is that this is the brain. Okay, we've seen it before. We know we've seen it, and right here is the amygdala. The amygdala, when we talk about stress, this is our enemy. Okay, that is this here is the enemy of the state. It is the nasty guy. This controls so much of our heads. It controls so much of what goes on around here and how things get um, either not sent out. And I've said this before, is that meditation helps cells calm down so they can see a clear picture of what's being received. Okay, now up here, the prefrontal cortex. That is where we do all of what you call our rational thinking. Down here in the amygdala, we know that most people have talked about is the flight or fright, or flight or fight. What we never rarely talk about is the freeze, flight, or fight. We never talk about the freeze. Why don't we talk about that freeze? That freeze is so important because that freeze is what blacks out everything that goes on all through here. Because the reason for the hippocampus, we're not going to get into that. It's a little bit more science that way, and we'll talk about that. But rational reasoning, development of movement, emotion, that's why people freeze in horror films and stuff like that. Prefrontal cortex, rational reasoning skills. You get angry, and all of a sudden, rationality it leaves. Okay, there's nothing there for you. There's no rational thought that's going to happen in your life when this gets blacked out. And this comes from one of the oldest parts of the brain, and that's the amygdala. Okay, that's what really blacks all that out. And in that blackout is why we have so much disenchanted or dis-ease of thought. Because of that stress. Here is what stress is really dictating. It's shutting a lot of what the chemicals in the brain are doing. Alcohol, marijuana use, all doesn't matter what it is. I'm not talking about those type of chemicals. I'm talking about your natural chemicals that are up in here that gets released into neurons, neurotransmitters, and how it fires in the synapses. I don't want you to tone down your stress. I'm going to teach you the science of how to get rid of your stress. And how to get rid of your stress is that we definitely need to attack this amygdala. It has to be attacked. It's not going away. You're unable to remove it. It's not going to be removed off your head. This is not something that you can just pull out, okay? But what you can do is that there's a right and left hemisphere. When this fires, when the amygdala fires, the left hemisphere is actually where it's a system. You have right brain thinking, you have left brain thinking. Right brain thinking people are very artistic, and the left brain thinking is very critical and analytical. The amygdala shuts the left brain down completely. What it doesn't shut down is the right. Now, if you don't know how to be a right brain thinker, and that's okay. Some people haven't because of conditions, or because of environment, or because of education, the way they've been brought up in their lives. What relieving stress is to keep that firing, and the only way that can stay fire is because when you work on breathing techniques, and this is where stress comes in, different breathing techniques will douse the amygdala with calming signals that it stays lit. Because once this goes dark, all this goes dark. And if all this goes dark, there is no reasoning of skills. Okay? There is no reasoning of ability of skills. So we have to allow that to stay lit. Okay? That's how you get rid of your stress. That is how you kill stress. Is there things that are going to be happening in your life that it's not going to, you want to happen or you have any control of happening? Absolutely. Absolutely. There are tons of things that are going to happen in your life that you are unable to control. Unable to control. Personal life, business life, work, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to control. The rain, okay, the sun, if you're a farmer, or you're a taxi cab driver, there's none of those things you're going to be able to control. What you can happen, and what you can control, and what you can have influence over is what this is doing and what the signals are doing here. These signals then affect the rest of the part of the body. And the rest of the part of the body is it's very important. Okay, the rest of the body is very important to understanding how and where and when it does what it does. See here. Okay, this here is that we know, if you can see it, let's see if I push this over, because here is what this brain functions and the body functions happen through this spine down here, okay? This down here is actually control from the start of your signals up here. If you could see how all this is affected, all this down here, and we know what is affected. We've read it, we've heard commercials, we've seen the videos, we say take these chemicals, take these pills, do this exercise, and it all works. Like I said, there's many ways, of great ways of how to do it. But if you don't really understand, fully understand what this is doing up here, it doesn't matter what exercise you do, because you have no what you call direct intention of action. No direct intention of action, no cells get the chemicals or the transmitting of information between cell to cell won't work. Okay? It won't work. So work on, we will talk about, we'll continue to talk about, and I want questions of, okay, how does this work for me? And what do I need to do now that I understand why it was important? I heard why it was important. I knew why it was important. I knew about the amygdala. I knew about the prefrontal. I knew about the left brain. I knew about the right brain. Now what do I do? For you personally, have a personal question. That's fine. I'll answer it here at any of these webinars, and that'll be fine. That'll be awesome. But what you now know, the simple part, and we'll continue this because we can't just redoing this over and over. I want to move on. I want to move on. I want to move forward. And then in the science of the holistic sciences, there's connections between one thing and another thing and another thing. And those things are important. Okay? Those things are important. So, in short, how to release stress? You got to keep the light on in the amygdala. How to keep the light on in the amygdala? It is to help your cells, your signals, your synapses, shine those thoughts down. We're not talking about getting rid of things that you're unable to control or happen, whether it be a car accident, tire fall off, doesn't matter. But what you are thinking up in here, purposeful, intentional action of your breath content, along with your emotional content, raining down through your body, that's going to help you kill stress. It's going to help you destroy it. And once it's a daily practice. There's not one thing that I'm going to write on here that it's not going to. That is so key. That is so key. Practice. Practice is important. Not if I practice. It's not what type of practice. It is practice. Daily practice. Pointing out a time in your life where you say, I am working on me to be better me. That's it. Because there is no mountaintop to this. There is no mountaintop to this. There is no, I am here. There is only practice and practice. That is it. Some of my older teachers in my life and my martial sciences and martial arts, people used to ask them, well, how long do you practice a day? They're like, I just practice every day. And how long do I have? Well, how long have you been practicing? Since I can practice. There's not a better answer to this. You're either going to practice or you're not going to practice. It doesn't matter what you do. You're either going to practice or you're not going to practice. And this takes a practice because as things filter in, you have to learn how to filter out. Okay? Thank you for joining me here at this time. We'll be doing more of these again and again and again. And I bless you for all the people who came. And namaste.